hello Galactic family. We're out of the heavy transitional energies of September and that's a relief. But before you jump out of the October starting gate and rush off onto any available path because you are so glad to be out of those challenging energies, be aware that Mercury is still in its shadow retrograde. We have some energy aspects that support careful consideration and calm assessment before taking action, and while fresh starts are possible, they must be made within the context of October's energy requirements of balance, equilibrium, and congruence. And with all of the focus on relationships and partnerships this month, remember that your first and most important scales 316892128 relationship is the one you have with yourself, and it's the one all of your other relationships will mirror. Like September, October begins with a new moon, but this one is not an eclipse and it doesn't have some of the challenging aspects of September's. So we begin the month with support for new efforts, but Mercury is still in its difficult retrograde until October 7th, so mind the retro warnings, they are still in effect. This is a month for action that is aligned with our intention, energy, and energetically balanced with our needs, for priorities that put us first, and for equilibrium in our lives so the energy flows with congruent harmony. If you're saying yes to all of that, let's take a closer look so you know exactly what this means. October's energy does not come with a magic wand, but it does offer profound potential for transformation if we're willing to align with it, do the work it requires, and take action. This month's keywords are balance, equilibrium, and congruence. All of those words apply to how we give and receive energy, and they will be our challenge, to be mindful of our energy boundaries in all of our relationships. Where are we giving and not receiving? Where are we out of integrity with our needs? Who or what has priority in our life? These questions will arise again and again this month so we can have a clear picture of where our energy is going and how it is flowing, and whether we're doing it in an empowering or a disempowering way. We will also see how we're supporting connections with our own energetic input and holding on to people and situations that we need to release. These are more than energy drains, they represent our fears, obligations, and commitments that limit our life path and probably have for many lifetimes. As they are related to karma, karmic cycles, and soul group dynamics, another theme that is highlighted this month, they are the lessons we have chosen to heal and complete in this lifetime. And with Saturn squaring the moon's nodes all month, strong karmic indicators, how we create energetic balance within our karmic lessons will be brought forward too. Jupiter moved out of Virgo in September, ending a spiritual cycle that began in 2003, and now we can take all of our learning from that cycle into another level, which means taking action to put what we have learned in place in our life. Once healing is completed and we have closure, we take action by exploring new options. If we wait for the right, perfect, or best time, we are missing opportunities to expand into our new potentials and possibilities. And we're out of balance because now we have new energetic options that we are not using. That will also be brought forward in October with Jupiter in Libra, the sign of balance. We have a couple of interesting aspects this month too, with Mars conjunct Pluto, which happens every 2 years, pushing forward the transformation agenda which started in September with Mars conjunct Saturn. If Saturn made us aware of our lessons in ways we could not ignore, Pluto pushes us off the transformation cliff so we can find our wings and soar. And Mars, as the planet of action, drives us towards the cliff. The fact that it is now in Capricorn, which is Saturn's sign, just gives it that little extra edge and carries forward the September Mars-Saturn conjunction energy. We may feel a little pressured with all of this going on, The need for transformation is in high gear as we need to integrate our 5D energies into our 3D realities. It is up to us to make the changes which will change our world, which then extends to the world and the collective reality. Each of us is important in this process. No change, no matter how small, is insignificant. But any change, no matter how small, is necessary. The other interesting aspect happens at the October 16th full moon, which exactly aspects the Uranus-Eris conjunction in Aries that has caused so much upset this year. But that is not all. We also have the Pluto-Mars conjunction gathering steam. The Saturn node square is exact. Jupiter is at the degree of the September 30th/October 1st new moon. Mercury is active too. Venus is at 27 Scorpio. The final degrees are still resonating from the Saturn and Scorpio action of September 2015, and Neptune is still close to its Saturn square, which has been activating the 3D/5D integration all year. Popcorn 10956571280. And one more thing, Pluto is at 15 Capricorn, the degree it occupied for the 7th and final Uranus-Pluto square in March 2015. It was also at that degree on January 1st of this year. This is the third time it has been direct at that degree, and that is always the point of greatest power. So we have a very powerful force for transformation ready to unleash its power. That is going to be a busy week. We may want to get some popcorn, sit back, and watch the fireworks. I think we're going to see a variety of truths revealed and unveiled that may be a little hard to take, but we have awakened enough to see that we live in a highly manipulated illusion that we can choose to believe or not. Once we decide we no longer want to believe it, we can no longer go back to the Alice in Wonderland view of the world. We're reaching that point individually and collectively, and the illusion is teetering now. I think that the illusion of the world the establishment wants us to believe is held in place only because we believe it, or have in the past. Once we no longer choose to accept that we are limited, powerless, and helpless, all of the structures whose existence depends on those beliefs will crumble. Then we'll have to recreate a new, more empowered world, but we can handle that and we are ready for it because we have been working on that in our own realities. This is true of the collective reality, but it is also true of our individual realities. Justice 12963811280. This month's energy is about balance, how we create it in our lives and how we maintain it with our energy boundaries. If we are at a level of perfect equilibrium, we are at a neutral point where our giving and receiving are balanced. This is our point of greatest power and expansion. As soon as we move in any direction from that point, which we do by giving more than we receive, or we receive and do not give, which includes taking action, we are now out of equilibrium and are unbalanced. There is no equilibrium and there can be no congruence, where the energy flows in harmony. We feel stuck, overwhelmed, and powerless, but that's because we are trying to move forward without the full use of our energy, like trying to drive forward in a car that's missing a few wheels. This also extends to the relationships whose existence depends on our pouring energy into them to keep them together. If we stop sending energy to them, which maintains balance and equilibrium but only because we are creating that with our energy, will the relationships fall apart? Are we willing to take that chance or not? That is a decision we may not have to make, because as we create balance and the flow of energetic congruence in our lives, everything that is an energy drain will have its plug pulled, so to speak. Our intention to be balanced, in equilibrium, and to have energetic congruence has a strong ripple effect throughout our reality. And the same effect extends to the collective reality. Our choice for balance requires that we make our own energetic requirements a priority. Are we happy and fulfilled? Do we have what we need? Are we living within our greatest potential and possibilities? If the answers to those questions is not yes, then October will give us the tools to help us get into balance energetically with ourselves. And if we have been putting all of our efforts towards ensuring everyone else's happiness, potential, success, and joy, we will get what we need to get our energy flowing in balance so we have equilibrium in our giving and our receiving. This was a topic of the October Energy Mastery class, and if you would like to have the class audio recording and worksheet, you can click here to purchase it. Balance, equilibrium, congruence are all required for us to access all of our energetic resources. Power drains such as distractions, obligations, commitments, and giving more than we receive or delaying action because we are afraid, confused, or want to get things right or perfect, all prevent us from accessing the full use of our power and create disequilibrium in an unbalanced state. So do self-judgment and self-criticism, and worrying about the future or regretting the past. There is power in transformation. It will take us into the new realities we have been wanting. And there is power with transformation, but it requires that we are willing to do the inner work that the transformation requires. We cannot integrate energy that we have no room for, so part of the transformation work requires that we create space for that energy. We do not have to worry about what that is. Whatever is unbalanced and blocking our transformation will be revealed so we can decide what we're going to do. October is a month for action, but it has to be what we're ready for. We say we want change, and maybe we do, but are we willing to put our energy behind it? Are we ready to be fully aligned with it and integrate the fullness of our power and potential in our realities? And most importantly, are we ready to get out of our healing cycles and start living life through our 5D potential and possibilities? It's time to explore those timelines. That's something we did in the October Energy Mastery class and bring them into our 3D realities. We are ready to integrate 5D energy now. It is time for us to begin. We have all of the tools to create heaven on earth. We need to create the balance, equilibrium, and congruence in our lives to make that happen. It is time to bring the light home now. And home is right here. Let's make this a month to remember for what we achieved and the joyful and joy-filled realities we created. Have a wonderful month.